Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So I'm going to do quite an in-depth video now on the NFT pricing that has happened with Big Time. So Big Time is one of the most anticipated blockchain games, I believe, and it's just launched. It's it's a beta, but you have to have one of their early access passes. So there's currently 3 passes. There's the gold pass, which is now, if you have one of those, you can now play the game. There's the silver pass, and then there's the jade pass. I think there's actually a ruby pass as well. So there's actually 4 different levels, but 3 of them was like sold off as NFTs. And so now people are going into the game. If you look around YouTube and Twitch, you see people playing the game. And we're starting to see the big time market get populated with these NFTs. So these are, we can see here, obviously in-game items. They are aesthetic items, so there is no gameplay advantage in having these, but people are obviously going through and sort of collecting these things and then putting them on the marketplace. So we're starting to see, a range of prices from $95,000 for the battle axe of Sir Bors, or $75 for the battle blade of St. Branor. So the pricing at the moment is I would just up front just warn you that pricing in the early stages of any of these things is through the roof. So I personally would not be buying any of these things. Obviously it is at the moment a seller's market. Not many people can play the game, so those people can set the prices for what they want, and lots of people now who may be interested in the game can't access the game now because they haven't got a pass. So basically you can put any price you want on these things. So I certainly would not be buying anything at the moment. The prices of these is unquestionably going to come down as more of these things are collected. And also there's a sort of uncertainty about, as well as about why these worth so much money. Maybe there's only one of the battle axe of St. Alamo or whatever, but you don't really get any there's no detail here. How many are there? Is there only one at this price? Is there some at different prices? There's so much is unknown. So just be careful on that. So what I've been doing though since these things went live is I've been just roughly every day, not quite every day, but I've been sort of noting the price of these spaces. So the land NFT in Big Time they're called spaces. I've not played the game, so don't know exactly how it works. But basically, what these are, they have a rarity. So the exalted is the most rare. There's legendary, there's epic, rare, mythical, and then there are sizes. So there's small, medium, and large. And so the size, as I understand it, the size is obviously how many sort of things you can craft in there. So these things are being crafted in these spaces, in these land NFTs. And also the rarity is the rarity of the stuff you can craft. So there's how many things you can craft, and then there's the rarity of the stuff you can craft. So we'll go into a lot of detail on this, looking at how pricing has changed, but that's just so you get like an idea, and just show some of this stuff so we can see these sort of sets of armor and things. I don't know what these ones are. They just are words. No idea really. Okay, so this is the marketplace. The other thing I should point out is this is a sort of proprietary marketplace. So this is only on Big Time. Not quite sure what blockchain they're running on. I think it is their own proprietary blockchain. So it's not Ethereum, not Polygon. So it's sort of like in a sense, it's sort of a closed market. You have to be able to sign up. It's not just you can kind of rock up with your MetaMask and start buying these things. So. There is restrictions also on the liquidity of the marketplace, I guess. And as you can see, they are pricing stuff in dollars. So when they did their first land sale, you were buying that in USD, USDC stablecoin. So another thing to be wary of. Okay. So just have a look. So just so you can see, this is the spreadsheet I have been running since the 21st of December when these things went live. So not quite every day, but basically every day I've gone in and I've looked at the cheapest price available for these land NFTs, these spaces. I've just made a note of the price. There's nothing clever here, just a manual process. I've got to have had like a pulled together like an ROI. So if you bought one of these at the start when they went live, at the price the developer set, and if you bought them now, what's the ROI? So you see the ROI has come down quite a lot. At one point it was 300% ROI because the prices at the beginning were crazy. You can see after a week people were sort of buying in at these crazy prices, or we don't know if they were buying or not. This is the floor price, so there's no visibility on whether people are actually buying at these prices. We can see it here. It's over the cost of all these. If you're going to buy one of all these now, the ROI is 26%, which is in blockchain terms actually not very much. But we can see within that, obviously there are, if I do the maths, 15 different types of NFT in terms of rarity and size. It's quite a big difference. So this is the ROI on these. If you had bought them at the original price that the developer set. So if you'd bought a Epic Medium space that was priced at $699, you could now sell it for $341. That's the cheapest one. So basically you would have lost 50% of the value. So actually we can see this is something that's changed really recently. I should point out. You can see the ROI dropping quite considerably. The ROI has been dropping considerably, I think, because the game's sort of been going out into early access, and people are sort of some people are just sort of selling out. They want to get their money back, and some people are sort of buying in. But the people who are selling out are clearly people at the bottom end of the market with the cheapest, less rare stuff. And the people buying in now are probably guilds who are going in at the they want the best stuff. That's my view, at least. Could be wrong, but we can see here for the majority of these. So there's only 6 of these 15 where you actually would have made money, and with this one, you don't really break even. So the one where you would have made the most money is, unsurprisingly, the most rare, largest one. So if you bought an exalted large space that would have cost you $3,299, you can currently sell it for, or the cheapest one is about $9,000. The second best one is the second biggest, rarest one. Interestingly, I guess the third best deal, although 17% and 20% are pretty similar. So this is the third most rare item in terms of it's exalted, but it's small. And actually, the pricing for the legendary large one, which is the sort of next one down, is about the same. We're going to go into more detail, but just so you can kind of see here. And one of the things that's interesting is basically I've been interested in how does the rarity sort of work in terms of size versus rarity. Obviously, the smallest, least rare stuff is tends to do the worst. So I mean, these are sort of 51%, 48%, 49%, 39%. So this actually the smallest one is the actually I said that's wrong. So the least rare smallest one is the rare small, but that's only down 25%. Whereas compared to the small epic one, which is more rare, that's down 49%. So there is actually at the bottom there's a slight inversion, as we'll see. So that's the data, and now let's go and have a look at some graphs. Okay, so this is a graph of looking at all those individual space land NFTs. So each one of these is a particular rarity size. Very hard to see what's going on there, so I'm just kind of showing this so you can just look what the data is. You can see obviously the trend is downwards in all of these, but we'll look in a bit more detail and sort of break them out. Actually, one of the things, so if I was talking about that ROI on the whole thing, so basically if you at the launch point bought one space at every rarity and scarcity level, this shows you the ROI, so you can kind of see basically what's happened is originally there was a massive sort of spike. The price of all these things went up, particularly of the rarest ones, and then over time, so into 2022, over time it's come down quite a lot. And then as the game has got closer to being released and more sort of information's come out, obviously we can see the price has sort of come down quite rapidly. So it peaks at over 400%. Comes down to 300% fairly quickly into 2022, comes down again fairly quickly to 200%, and then from mid-January to where we are now in mid-April is sort of like a plateau into March, and then a sort of steady falling away back to actually now under 100%. So that's 26%, isn't it? So yeah, so if you bought one of everything and sold it all at the floor price now, you would have made like 26%, which is not terrible in terms of like investment over that period of time. But in terms of sort of crypto investment, people would be not think that's so amazing. Okay, so let's first look at the price of these land NFTs, these spaces by size. So no real surprise here. The large ones are much more expensive. The medium ones next, but much much reduced, and then small ones at the bottom. Let's have a look in terms of percentages, which is a bit more useful. This is in dollar terms. So this should say this. So this is this is the if you were sort of buying one of each. So in the large size, if you're buying all 5 rarity options of the large NFT, space NFT, and 5 of the medium ones and 5 of the small ones. So it's basically a collection of all of them. If we look at the ROI in percentage terms, we can actually see, of course, the positions don't change, but the closeness changes quite a lot. So really, the large size spaces are really much more valued in the market compared to the small and medium. Small and medium actually, sort of over time, they get very, very close. So the medium is always sort of gives you better ROI. If you bought the medium ones, you always do better than if you bought the small ones. But really, not by much, sort of by less than you think. Certainly by less than maybe looking at the actual price. Obviously, the pricing, the medium ones were priced. The small ones were the lowest price. The medium ones were the next, and the large ones. So in a sense, what we're looking here is does the market of buying and selling these things reflect the price that the developer set on them? And actually, it looks like the large ones were probably undervalued and the medium ones were overvalued. So let's flip that and now have a look at the price via Rarity group. So this again is looking at if I bought the small, medium, and large exalted Rarity values compared to the Mythic, blah blah blah. So again, this is in dollar price. So obviously, as you'd expect, the rarest ones are up here. The next rare, next rare, next rare. If you look at the ROI, again, it sort of shows a little bit of a different picture. So actually, it shows the sort of rare and epic are at the bottom, but sort of reversed actually. So rare is the blue line here. These are the cheapest ones. But if we go here, actually the worst performing ones in terms of ROI, return on investment, are the epic ones. So the second rarest ones actually have done worse over time. Actually, over the entire period, the epic ones have always done worse. So the cheapest ones have always done better. So there's a sort of interesting sort of spectrum here. At the top end, the very rare, biggest ones do the best. At the top end, at the bottom end, actually people are the cheapest ones actually don't do the worst. That's what I'm saying. So it seems to me that maybe the developer has sort of confused people by having 5 ranges of rarity. That's people have done that in the past, but that's quite a lot. And certainly I always get a bit confused between whether rare or epic is which one is more rare or epic. Rare is the least rare. And epic is slightly rarer. This makes any sense, but it looks like to me they could have got rid of epic, and I don't think it would have made much difference. I mean, equally for legendary and mythic, again a little bit of confusion. Which is more legendary, mythic, or legendary? Mythic is the rarer one. We can see here, but they do get very close. So the mythical ones always give you better return on investment, but actually at this point here, legendary gives you slightly better return on investment. It's very, it goes up and down. And they're very tightly matched. But it seems to me that they would have maybe even done better only having 3 rarity levels at this point. It seems like to me sort of you could have had 1 rare and epic and 1 legendary and mythic. Yes, 5 different 15 NFT classes in terms of rarity and size is quite a lot, and I think that's probably confused the audience somewhat. What else we got? So let's put it together. So now this is the ROI, return on investment on all these, and we can sort of see, certainly this scale of graph, the ones that have done the best, even though everything's sort of gone down in value, the ones that have done the best are the large ones, this yellow line, and the exalted rarity level, so the most rare. So in fact, we can see definitely over time, people have prized size more than rarity. So the large ones at every every rarity level have performed better as a group. The exalted ones have performed better as a group in terms of the rarity, and everything else gets pretty squashed down. So medium is slightly better than the other things. So it seems to me that size has outperformed over rarity as a sort of class, as an asset class, if you want to look at it in that way. And I think that's because having 5 rarity values just confuses people. So have a quick look at this. Actually, this is a bonus graph. So I actually looked at the price of these early access passes. This is a log scale. So if you have a gold pass, That's been about sort of $10,000, about $8,000 now if you want, and that gives you access. So that gives you access to go in and get some of these things. Silver Pass, in the middle, and the Jade Pass here. So all of them, all the assets in big time have dropped over time. And this little dotted line here is you can. So these are the passes sold in that marketplace that we first looked at, the big time marketplace. But they also sold some of these passes on OpenSea on the Polygon blockchain. So I just tracked the silver pass because that was the one that I had actually. Let me see here that the price on the Polygon blockchain for the silver pass is much cheaper than it is in the actual dollar stablecoin dollar marketplace of big time. So there's an arbitrage opportunity, which basically means if you wanted to, you could go in and buy some of these passes on OpenSea and then try and sell them on the marketplace. You have to sort of bridge them across, so there is a sort of a friction point there. But it's quite a big difference. There's like $500, I think, more than that, $500-600 of arbitrage there. If you want to go and buy silver passes on Polygon, and then you have to create an account and stuff. It's not as simple as I'm making it probably. But yeah, you can see that as well. Okay, and a final set of graphs to look at. Okay, so in these set of graphs, what I've done is I've taken the price of I've made a comparison between different space NFTs. That sold at the same price or roughly the same price. So we can look at here. These are sort of the cheapest ones. So you could 400. They weren't actually the very cheapest ones, but some of the cheaper ones. So this is basically what we're looking here is a comparison of size versus rarity and how the market judges it. So these were both $499 each, but you could have had a rare, medium. So the least rare on rarity, but the medium size. Or you could have had a slightly more rare epic one, but it's the smallest size. So they're both exactly the same price, and we can see clearly the market wants a medium. Because you've got five rarity levels and only 3 size levels, it sort of makes logical sense. You think, well, having something medium, even though it's the sort of least rare thing, is better than having something that's only the second most rare. So you can see here clearly the red line is always above the blue line throughout. So people in this one are judging size over rarity. And this is at the bottom end. Okay, so let's look at something else now. So here we have so these are slightly different. So this is the legendary small in blue. So that was $599, and in red we have the epic medium, $699. So the red one should always be above. In the sense that it costs more, the developer priced this one higher, but we can see actually that's not the case. So we have a epic, which is the second most rare option, and a medium size. So we think, looking at the one we saw before, that people like size more. Compared to legendary, which is the third, which is the third most rare option, but the smallest one. So we can see there actually something here has happened differently, I think, particularly because this one again is like $100 cheaper. So actually with the legendary one, people are people I think are really sort of confused by this one. They don't really know what to do. You can see it sort of changes over. So the red one's above, then the blue one's above, then the red one, then there's, red. I mean, I would say probably red is above more but now it's sort of below. So I think there's confusion here. People don't quite know how to deal with the second, a medium size second most rare compared to a small third most rare. It's a difficult one. Which one would I have? I would personally probably have the bigger one, I think. But that's what's happened on that pricing. So that one's a bit more confused. Okay, we're going up in the pricing scale now. So here we have both at $999 when you bought these. You could have a rare large or a mythic small. So this is maybe a bit easier to see. So rare is the we could say the least rare, the most common, but it's a large size NFT, a large space. So you can do more, have more items in there, but you can only craft the least rare stuff. You can have a small one, but it's mythic, and mythic is the fourth most rare option. So we can effectively say this is going to be a small space, but it's going to be really rare stuff. And we can see here in this case that the rarity is apart from, again, very recently, the rarity is generally seen as being for this comparison is generally seen as being more valuable than size. And again, this I guess because this is the least rare versus the second to top most rare. So here rarity, there's a big enough gap in the rarity for people to go. They want this mythic one, even though it's small. Which you kind of think actually there's sort of that's small versus large. Probably I would want to always go for large, but you can see here that's not really what's happened. With all these things, this is looking at past data, so we can see that it's inverted here. So suddenly now people are judging the larger one as being more valuable. But I think we'll see that over time as more people play the game and people understand how the mechanics work. And I think we'll see different pricing judgments being made. What else we got? So this one, again, we have a slightly different pricing. So in blue, we have a mythical medium one, so the second most rare one, and a medium-sized land. And here we have legendary, which is the sort of middle rarity, but it's large. This one's more expensive, so we should always see the red one above. Actually pretty tight. Throughout, you can't really say one is significantly better than the other, or more expensive than the other. Again, sort of an inversion here, but I don't think that's significant. Obviously, price has gone down sort of quite a lot over time, but again, people don't know because there's one degree of sort of rarity difference here and sort of one degree of size. People don't quite know how to price that. So again, pretty interesting. And what we got here, final one. So this is quite a $200 in difference, so quite a lot in terms of the developer pricing. And we have so mythical large. So this is the second most rare large space. It's priced lower, and this is the rarest, but it's only medium. We can see here quite clearly because this is the rarest option, the rarest option of 5. Even though it's a medium one, and even though I again would probably go more for the mythic one. I'm quite surprised at the gap here. You see the gap, obviously it tightens over time. But people here at the top end of rarity, people are taking rarity over size in general. And I guess that is reflected as we see in the if we look at the sort of the figure today. So let's bring it back down to where we started. So this is the my data here, and we can see here just a reminder there are sort of 15 different types of land you can buy in different rarity, 5 different rarities, 3 different sizes. In terms of the ROI today, the people are judging rarity in general as the best thing to buy. People are, the price of these ones has gone up a lot. The price of all the rare and the epic ones, so the sort of most common ones, none of those have increased in price. Doesn't matter what their size is. But even some of the more rare ones, so legendary, sort of in the middle. The only one there that's made money, you would have made money on, is the large one. So size does matter, but the rarity not so much on. So I kind of think, and that's also sort of I think shown here with, although the mythic small one hasn't, has gone, the ROI is negative. The second most rare, medium and large. So in that top corner, the rarity does matter, because on the least rare ones at the moment you would have lost money. And size does play size is important, but probably less important than people are thinking at the moment. Again, these things may change as people start playing the game. My conclusion would be that the developer has sort of confused people by having too many rarity levels. I don't think you probably needed 5. I think you could definitely got away with 4, possibly got away with 3. I'm not a game developer, so what do I know? Anyway, hope you found that in some ways interesting. Obviously not investment advice, but I will keep my eye on what's going on with Big Time. I'm not sure I'm going to go and check out all the NFTs that are now available on there, because that's quite a lot going on. As I say, these are aesthetic. I'm sure there'll be lots of interesting pricing stuff going on. But as you can see, there's now 121 items, so it's quite a lot to keep track of. I'm sure someone else will probably be doing some data analysis at a bit more advanced level than me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Blockchain Gaming World, where we spend much time looking at this sort of data. but hopefully it's useful for people. Thanks for watching, and see you guys soon.